Okay, hey everyone! It's actually time for a real tier list this time instead of the fake one I made yesterday. I still stand by Takumi's ponytail, just saying. Just saying. Still probably S tier there. Anyways, joining me today is actually Jay from our Discord, which, if you haven't been to our Discord, it's in the description. Hi, Jay.
Meow.
Okay, that was not the introduction I was thinking you would go with, but, I mean, okay, so, today we're discussing red units, and the reason is we're going to be separating them into color because there are so many units. If we actually went through a whole tier list, it would probably take, like, 3 hours. Maybe more.
To be honest, we could almost split the red the red alone into two.
Yeah, yeah, there's so many.
Sword is.
Sorry, say that again.
I was going to say like sword in one and like tome and dragon in another.
Yeah, but I mean, we're gonna go through a lot of the units that, you know, end up in some of the I wouldn't say worse off ranks, but some of the lower ranks pretty quick. You know, just kind of give them a reason why. But you know. Yeah,
I can imagine.
Because
I still have like a good reason for like most of them. Yeah.
Alrighty, so we're actually going alphabetically, and there's quite a lot of characters to go through, so let's start off with good old Alphonse here. I personally think he's more of an A rank, but you seem to... Where do you fall on him? Just as a character when it comes to Alphonse.
He's a lot like Lazlow to some extent, except he comes with Death Blow from... So probably A, just as I ranked Lazlow in.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. A rank seems about right for him because some people put him in B rank, and I don't. I mean, apparently, according to you, if you give him a Brave Sword, he can actually do a lot more damage. But people get hung up on his legendary weapon, which is kind of, you know.
Yeah, his legendary weapon is just like a piece of trash. I don't get it.
Yeah, I
it's like it's such a wasted potential, is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Alphonse is okay at what he does. He's just not the best. When it comes to red units, you usually have to, like, pick or choose because there are so many sword units in the game. You kind of have a lot to go through.
And it doesn't really help you that Alphonse's special weapons ability is fucking Defiant Attack 2.
Well, I mean, could be worse.
I mean, the point where I'm trying to get at why I say it's kind of bad is just the point that it's like attack plus 5 if HP is 50% or less does not stack with own attack, so it's basically if you have an own attack buffing him, that's basically 1 attack increase.
Yeah.
Whoop-de-doo.
Honestly, it would probably be better to give him something like a Brave Sword anyways, so. Alrighty!
Yep.
Okay, so the next one on our list here would be our good old pal Alm. And I'm just gonna make the characters kiss. No, I'm kidding, but this is actually being done live. I actually had to make all of this. This was a lot of work. Praise me. No, okay. Anyways, honestly, I think Alm might be A plus myself, but I partly because he has, at least from what I understood, he's kind of like Chrom in a way, and he functions a little bit better, at least speed wise, but. I think Chrom has more attack, as you pointed out before, so yep. I still say A plus for Alm.
He's got a close of A plus. I ranked him as 3rd in A rank.
Oh, okay.
So, like, mainly toward the top. He has many things going for him. Like, he has decent speed, but the problem with that speed is it's still kind of on the low side.
Yeah.
And his attack is not the greatest. But not the worst. You can still, like, use him.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's better than Alphonse by any definition. If
well, obviously. But not by much, actually.
Now you're making me debate this. I'm still going to stick him in A+, because I like him. That's my tier list, guys. No, I'm kidding. We'll probably... Okay. We're just going to put him in A because it's probably a bit more... I mean, when it comes down to the next character we're going to talk about, I know where she's probably going to end up because, oh boy. But yeah,
who dat?
Huh?
Who dat?
Oh, you'll see in a second. We're going alphabetically, so we're actually skipping right down to C. But Alm does pretty well at what he does. If you got him, he's definitely a pretty good unit, I feel. He's a little bit better than Chrom Nah, I'm gonna stick him back up at A+, honestly, because I still think he's better than Alphonse, at least a little bit.
Well, he is better than Alphonse. I did rank Alm better than Alphonse, but not by much.
That one's a really difficult one for me for Alm, because, like, when you compare him to other units, he's at least better than some of those. Alright!
Yeah.
Next up, we're going to move on to... Well, we're moving on to the C's now, and there's actually quite a few C units that we're going to be talking about, but the first one that starts off, of course, has an A and an E, and then, of course, is Sheeta. And, well,
oh boy.
I hate to be that guy, but I'm pretty sure Sheeta is really bottom tier, actually, considering as a unit. I would say probably B, if I were to put her somewhere.
She's the best B tier unit, in my opinion.
Because when it comes down to other units, she just doesn't really match up when it comes to stats.
Even as a flyer, I will agree that she has a bunch of speed and a lot of res, so she can really use Iceberg correctly.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the main problem that she runs into is her defense is not that great.
Her attack is just not that great either.
Her attack is just why?
Very.
It's almost Henry level, so that just goes to show.
Yeah, I mean, as a character, as a flying unit, I would say she, there's already Paula, who's already kind of in the red flying units, who could do her job a lot better, and is easier to get, I feel. So
not to mention, you can actually hit 4+10 on a Paula.
Yeah.
Rather easy. For people who don't know, a 4+10 on average is the equivalent of a 5-star +5. So yeah, getting Kata, which is essentially forcing you to basically get her at 4 to 5-star because she's not in 3-star, is a nightmare. Getting a +10 Paula, well, is rather easy. Also, I do want to point out, I do consider, in my own tier list, I do consider to some extent buffs. The main reason why I do so is because horse, flyers, and armored units have access to buffs that are better than infantry units.
Yes, and that gives them a really big advantage, in a lot of ways.
It does, but I do understand that buffs won't always be there for you. I just want to point out though that, say, if you compared a fully buffed Ryoma to a
not buffed Ryoma, or
no, like if you compare Ryoma to Camus, if you don't compare with buffs, Camus is worse when it comes to stats. But if you compare like own cavalry, Camus to
and adding them all together. I mean, it's pretty obvious that's why Horse Emblem is such a prevalent thing in the game. It makes units like Ursula, who by any definition shouldn't be that powerful.
Ursula would be B. Ursula would be B tier if it wasn't for fucking
Horse Emblem. Yeah.
Well, Blade Tome.
Yeah, Blade Tome and Horse Emblem. I'm just saying. I mean, as a unit, you can get someone a lot better than Sheeta, honestly.
Yeah, easily.
And next up is actually another C unit that we have to talk about, and apparently it just popped right up there. It's Kain. God, Kain is, I would say probably A myself, but that's just.
Kain.
I mean,
I rank Kain better than Alm.
Really? Huh.
Yep.
I don't know about that one, but yeah.
The main reason why I ranked him much better than Alm, well, not much better, two placement better, is because Kain actually can use a Brave Sword rather well, especially in a Horse Emblem setting. He can actually hit 50 attack and 37 speed with a Brave Sword.
Yeah, that's pretty decent. I mean, fine, I'll give him A+ for you. There you go. Now he's up there with his boyfriend Alm. Okay.
Oh boy.
And not only that, I'm fairly sure isn't. No, actually, I'm thinking Kain is something else. No, he is cavalry. He can take advantage of some horse buffs if need be. So he does have some advantages there. Honestly, Kain is an odd one. He's also one of those units that kind of competes with the horse spot. I feel like if you're going with some other units, you might find it a bit easier, mostly like Xander or something, but still. Anyways.
Oh yeah, especially since Xander is completely free.
Yeah. and, you know, easier to get, I think. At least than random luck. Alrighty, so moving on to the next one, and this is one that I feel a lot of people really like as a character, and that, of course, is Celica. And I'll be pretty honest, this is probably one of our first S ranks here that we're going to be putting here, because
she currently is the best red tome of the entire game.
Yep, she is.
Purely because of her tome.
She is extremely powerful. Her tome is pretty strong, and she has both the damage and, I feel, the speed to back it up if you do try to invest into that.
If you compare her to Tarja, she's actually slightly worse. She has the same attack but one less speed. Yeah. However, the whole point is
she still has she still has the speed to she still has speed. That's the thing. You know, it's not like she's doing terribly, but that 16 might from Ragnarok plus the additional effect
14.
that it had 14? Ah, 14. Okay.
All long-range unique weapons.
Oh yeah, that's 14. Right. That's right. 14. I'm thinking, you know, melee unique weapons.
Yeah.
But anyways, 14 might. It's pretty substantial for a tome. I'm sure if people might get into like, oh, but what about blade tomes? Well, I feel Ragnarok's still a tier above that.
The thing is, Tarja uses blade tome, and it's amazing. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. But
it does not give you extra speed. Celica, basically with her tome, and if you have Renewal to basically get yourself up into that range where you can use it again, hits 37 attack and 38 speed without any fucking weapon or a skill.
Yeah,
it's insane.
She's terrifying. I mean, we'll be talking about Tharja a bit later too, so let's... Alrighty, and moving on to the next unit that we're going to be talking about here. This is someone that you are quite a big fan of, at least according to what I heard earlier, and that is Chrom. There's Chrom.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with A+, but I'm sure you might disagree.
He is.
Okay. I mean...
He is, because the main problem is he basically suffers from having kind of...
Whoa.
Like, his bulk is not awful.
Yeah.
His bulk is not awful. However, his speed does not back up his bulk, in the sense that also his res is complete garbage.
Yeah.
Like sitting in the 15 or something.
Yeah, it's let's see here. According to this list here, he sits at about... Come on. He sits
17
at
res.
17 res, yep. That's not too great, honestly.
Yeah, it's not great. Like, his defense is pretty solid at 31.
Yeah.
But, like, he's rather bulky in this. But the problem is 25 speed means he's gonna get doubled a lot. And if you want to actually use it, you'll want a brave sword. Because whatever he fucking touch melts for the most part.
Now, because he has a natural 40 attack if you do get a boon in that, actually. That's without weapon, guys. That's without a weapon. So, if you add that,
he's like...
add that, maybe life and death, right? And then he'll
or death blow.
Or maybe death blow will be better. Death blow would probably be better.
Yeah, considering you would fall down to like 20 speed.
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't really alter too much, honestly, for his speed. It really wouldn't help him if he had life and death, so I'd probably say death blow.
Watch out. Maybe with buffs he will be able to quad Henry.
Oh, for God's sakes. Okay, and moving on to the next unit. Because you ruin everything you touch, much like, okay, here's Corrin male.
S tier.
S tier? You say S tier.
Yep. A lot of people that would not agree with me because the wiki is like, it's A tier. But, my Corrin, I have a Corrin in my alt account. And my Corrin fucking wrecks shit.
I have seen your Corrin work, and I can testify to the fact that I think he can be incredibly strong if you build him correctly. He's one of those units that when you start off, I forget, what is the Yato's passive ability? It's like...
it gives +4 speed when he initiates.
Okay.
Which allows him, in my case, he's not speed boon. It's not speed boon. It's just neutral speed.
Yeah.
And he has life and death and a speed +1 seal, so he hits 37 speed.
Yeah.
When he initiates, that is 41 speed without buffs.
I see. Yeah, I was gonna probably put him in S because I've seen how well he can work in some environments, and he does do a lot of really great. I mean, he hits pretty hard, he's fast, and he can do substantial damage when he's needed. I've seen yours, like, kill Hector in one sweep pretty quick, so...
Well, I mean, mine basically hit a Hector for, like, around 70 damage in one round.
Yeah, so, I mean, Corrin as a male unit, you know, Corrin male as a unit is not as a male unit. There's also a female Corrin, just saying. Smile, smile, wink, wink. Anyways, he does pretty well. I think you can, if you build him correctly, and he will definitely be a monster to, it's just, I mean, I'm sure you can probably talk about it in the comments. I'm sure someone's commenting, Corrin is A tier at best, but still. Anyways,
yeah, just like someone in the comment was like, Lloyd is an A tier.
Oh my god.
I'm just standing here like, you have to be joking.
Alrighty, so there's Corrin. Now we get to talk about what a Draug this will be, because it's Draug.
Oh boy. I actually rank him as A+.
What? I rank him as C, dude. But that's just, I think that might just be, you know, because honestly, I think that might be without skill inheritance, but that's just me. So I honestly think he would probably be around an A if you put him actually with some decent skills myself. I mean,
if you give him the good support, did you know he can hit 50 speed with a brave sword?
What? That's,
yes,
that's outrageous.
With 2 gold, a hone armor, and speed plus nature, along with life and death 3, he can actually hit 48 speed with a brave sword, as well as pretty decent damage. Like, it's rather insane. Now, I do understand that is with support.
Yeah.
But if I were to consider support, he would be tier. So there's that. He's sitting at 39 defense, which is the highest defense in the entire game.
Yeah.
His speed is pretty solid, so he doesn't even need Wary Fighter.
He doesn't get doubled, that's for sure.
He's sitting at 32 speed.
Yep.
He's fast as fuck.
I know. How does he do that in that armor is the question.
That's a good question.
I'm gonna stick him in A for now because it's just, it's hard to, like, I mean...
Well, to be fair, he's actually on my team. He's at the bottom of A+.
Oh, okay.
Like, he's just 1 rank higher than Chrom.
I mean, without any skills, he's probably one of the worst, actually. Like,
without any skill, he's like B, maybe C.
Yeah, and
he's not great. By the way, I just want to point out, since you think I have many units in C rank, I literally have only 5 units in C tier.
I only have 1 unit in C tier, and that's unfortunately going to be someone we'll be talking about in a bit.
Oh no, I'm guessing that's gonna be Henry.
Oh, I'm sure you probably already know very well. Moving on, we have Erika, who is, I feel, at least A+.
S, actually.
Wow, really?
Because she has so, like...
Oh, she has... Yeah, she does have a lot of buffs, but I still feel... I don't know. That's a really hard one to put.
Like, she has decent speed, she has decent def and rest, so she's tanky.
Yeah, so you know what? On second thought, yeah, I would probably go with S.
Her main problem is her lack of damage. Like,
yeah, she is meant to be a supporty kind of unit, you know?
Yep.
She, not only can you, I mean, now even more with the Sacred Seals, because they're having the whole Fortify things in there, you know, she can buff 4 stats at once with what she has. She can, you know, rally, she can have 4... she has Seekland, you know.
It's essentially plus 16 attack.
Yeah, if you have a Blade Tome.
Also, I do want to point out that attack granted by the Blade Tome does stack with Draconic Aura. So say you have 50 attack, and then you get all that buff, so you have like the equivalent of 66 attack when you attack. Well, Draconic Aura is going to give you an extra 19 attack, or 20.
I mean, she's God, she's mostly only good at buffing, but her buffs are really well done. If you ever really need a unit that can, you know, buff up a blade tome really quickly, that would be your girl to go for. Because she's
also amazing if you want to grind, because you can just, like, sit her next to a unit that you want to train.
Yeah, and she can buff them with almost every stat, so...
Yep.
Or all stats if you happen to have a Sacred Seal, a proper Sacred Seal and the correct rally. And then you can move with that. Yep. Alright, so that's basically Erika. Now we're moving on to... Oh, well, it's going to be a horse unit, and it's Eldigan. I'm sure you're familiar with Eldigan.
Also, I just want to point out, Erika is actually the 3rd best sword unit in the game, in my opinion.
Huh.
Yep.
I'm going to put Eldigan up in S rank because he really does do well as a horse emblem unit. He's a very good defense unit.
I actually ranked him as A+.
Well, I'm going with S because I just feel he's really strong. He's probably right below Xander, at least, or right above Xander. Right, probably tying with him, honestly. Probably because he has Mistletoe, you know. But
no, essentially the way Xander is, Xander is basically an upgraded Eldigan because he's essentially Eldigan with DC built in and a bit more depth.
Yeah. But I mean, Eldigan does a really good job if you're looking for a defensive horse unit that can at least... I mean, he does have the ability to accelerate his own special trigger, which is nice. And if you give him some...
Yeah, it's really useful, especially if you use Bonfire, Ignis, which essentially is what he needs. Yeah. Because without it, he's basically like kind of like Xander in the sense that... Except that if he gets hit by a range attack like magic, he's just gonna get fucked.
That's true.
Like, he's sitting with 19 rays, and he can't even hit back.
I mean, one thing I do feel we need to point out is that he does come in with his own inherent fury, so he does have fury already if you decide to go with that. So it's not bad. He can buff up his resistance at least a little bit. I mean, it's not like it's the end of the world.
He hits like 22 res, but that's still underwhelming.
Yeah.
Also, his speed is at 24, which is a problem considering most blue mages actually have pretty decent speed.
Yeah, we're good lord. When we get to blue units, we're just gonna have to talk about how all the blue tome units seem to just be the speediest bastards out there right now.
I think the slowest blue mage that's actually relevant is May at 31.
I mean, that's true. It is. I just...
Yeah, May's 31, Bright Coyote's 37, 36, Linde's 36, Reinhardt doesn't fucking matter, hits like a truck anyway, Olwen's 34, Ursula's 32, Robin M is 29, I believe, and then you have Odin, but nobody cares about Odin.
Good old Odin. Alrighty, and here is Elwood. I'm gonna stick him in A tier, because that's where I think he is, but... Maybe no.
That's also where I ranked him.
Because, like, as much fun as he is, he really is only good at resistance for the most part. I mean, he has a really nice weapon and some other stuff, but, you know, outside of Horse Emblem, he really... I feel like he doesn't excel too much. He's good. He's a good unit, make no mistake, but he's just... He will require some work, I feel.
Hollywood is no okay good?
He's okay good, but he's not very okay good. See, this is A rank is okay good, A plus is very okay good, S rank is very, very okay good, and S plus is supremely okay good.
S plus is Ryoma, done.
Ryoma, yeah. Ryoma and Ike, those are probably who's going to be up there. Anyways.
Ike is actually S tier to me.
I strongly disagree, but yeah. But that's mostly because we'll get into that later.
Yep.
Alright, moving on, we of course have Fear, who honestly I just want to stick in C rank because I hate her so much, but still I would go with B, just because, well, she's not, you know, she's not the worst, it's just she's basically only really good at being a mage killer and resisting things, you know, and just...
Yeah, she's basically a mage killer, and her other main issue is also the fact that unless her spec is ready, killing something is at all is rather hard for her.
Yeah, she has low attack, she has a lot of speed, but unfortunately that doesn't really mean much when you don't have the attack to back it up. I hate to say that. She does have a killer sword, but you know, and I don't mean that as like, well, bruh, look at her killer sword. I mean, she actually has a killing weapon, so.
Yeah, that helps her actually proc glassies a bit faster because 25 attack doesn't cut shit.
She doesn't do anything. Anyways.
The worst part is if she had like 5 HP that were like turned into attack, she would be so good.
Yeah, I mean, she would be eventually. You know, the fun thing about these tier lists is that we can come back and look at them. I've made this as a template so we can modify it and come back later when they add new units, because people, remember, this is at the start of June, and we can come back to this. We don't know if they're going to add, you know, a new special skill or something that might modify one of these characters who used to be in B and is now...
Oh, please. Please, no wrathful staff anymore. That's a calculation I have to do.
Oh my god, but still, you know, you never know what they might add. Anyways... Moving on to Go ahead.
That single fucking skill made me need to actually make an entire new category.
Yeah.
Wrathful staff, just because Nosferatu healers.
What you know, one of these days we're gonna get Nosferatu, and you're gonna be like super jelly. Anyways,
I'll be fucking pissed unless it's a unique tome.
Oh man,
it better fucking be.
Well, here's Hana. I say A+ because she's pretty good.
Yep, she's actually toward the top of A+.
Yeah, I would say she's about on the cusp of S for me, but you know.
Actually, no, she's not on the top of A+. She is the best A+ character on my tier list.
if you build her correctly, she can do a lot of damage. She can be fast. She can, you know.
The only reason.
Go ahead.
The only reason why she's not S tier is because she has very poor bulk.
Yeah.
She has low health, she has low def, she has low res, because you need life and def 3 to really make her amazing.
Yep, which is funny because that's her skill she has. And, you know, she would be S+ if it were just like skills to inherit from, because everybody wants life and death, along with death blow and all the other fun little skills that you can get there.
Fury, guys. Fucking Fury.
Fury's everywhere.
I mean, the main problem is Fury is really good at buffing that def and resistance to a point where you can use Iceberg and Bonfire.
Yeah.
So you usually have to go with it just because it basically makes other skills really good with it.
Yes. I mean Hinata, that poor man, is being abused and taken advantage of. And speaking of, you know, Hinata, we will talk about him in a second, but right now we have to move on to our good and lovely friend Henry, who I honestly gets the lovely joy of C rank because he is absolutely the worst, unfortunately.
I mean, you can sort of use him if you use like a Raven plus TA to actually deal with colorless.
Yeah, I mean, well, you know, that the same can be said for a lot of, you know, tome users that are in red right now.
The thing is, Sophia.
Yeah. Sophia.
Yeah, Sophia. She basically does exactly what Henry does, but not as shit.
Yeah, because he has some of the worst stats I've ever actually, like, he's supposed to be I would say tanky mage, but the thing is his attack is, like, I mean, I would say probably the lowest.
It's like, look at me, I have 45 HP, 32 defense, 20...
And 23 attack, 23. And if you happen to have the one unfortunate, you know, you're that poor pitiful soul who happens to have attack Bane, he has 20 attack. 20.
But the worst part after this is you see his attack is garbage, and then you look at his speed.
Yeah, and 20. It's also bad. That's
like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I'm just gonna.
That's like the worst attack of the game and the worst speed combined.
Yeah, he's the weirdest unit out there, honestly, and if it weren't for the fact that he had Ignis, he probably wouldn't really be looked at. And Green Tomebreaker, I guess, right?
Yeah, he's the only unit with Green Tomebreaker.
he probably wouldn't even be looked at for the most part, because he unfortunately is one of those characters that I get that you're trying to make something here, guys, but yeah,
it doesn't
no.
work.
Yeah, it doesn't work. It's like Fear. Fear is, but worse. A lot worse. All right. Poor Henry.
I mean, even Fear has more attack than this guy. What the fuck?
And Fear actually has the speed to back it up, at least.
Yep.
All right, and moving on to speaking of Hinata, here is Hinata, and Hinata would probably be A or B. He's like, for me, he was like right in between here, but I'm gonna go with A just to give him that a little bit more.
I actually ranked Weeb as B rank.
Really? Huh.
Yep. Because like, let me verify his stats. I mean, because I don't have them by heart. Like, he has 32 attack.
Yeah,
that's decent.
Yeah, that's decent.
He has too much. He has too much stats into HP. Pretty good def. He's basically an Henry, basically.
Yeah, he's meant to. He's meant to be this weird. I mean, I feel he does a little bit better than a lot of the characters that are listed in B rank because, you know, naturally he has that better attack. He at least has some, some like girth to actually fighting, so he can take a beating. Especially since he already has Fury on him. It's not.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not like.
He has like.
Go ahead.
He has one of the highest defense in the game, sitting at 36.
Yeah.
And then next to it, he has 18 res, but
yeah.
He actually has 24 speed, which really hinders him.
Yeah.
That said, he still has a few uses.
Yeah, I feel like if you build him correctly, you won't, he'll be more of an A than a B. That's just what I think.
Yeah, well, I guess with like Bonfire ready.
Yep. Oh boy. Well, okay. This one's gonna be controversial, by the way. The next unit we're gonna be talking about.
Oh boy.
And since what comes after H, why it's I, and what has I in it? Ike.
Oh. I actually ranked him as the 6th best sword unit.
I rank him as S+, but that's just me. I know a lot of people are gonna be. Some people are. Like, people have been moving him up and down the tier lists that I've seen, like, constantly. I just think the combination of Heavy Blade, which is a really interesting skill, plus a lot of, distant counter, some pretty good stats, I feel, is S+. That's just me, though.
Yeah, I'm going to go a bit more in depth as to why I consider him the 6th best sword unit and not higher. A lot of people consider Heavy Blade as a really good move.
Mm-hmm.
It can work if you're talking about offensive arena.
Yes.
Because in offensive arena, you do have access to your character.
Yeah.
And that means you can actually use threat and attack to go in conjunction with Heavy Blade.
Yeah.
Because if you do not use threat and attack, your Heavy Blade doesn't do shit. The reason why I say it doesn't do shit is because, say you have a Hike, right?
Yeah.
He's sitting at 51 attack in neutral. And then you have Lucina that's sitting at 50 attack in neutral.
Yeah.
Now you give Fury to Lucina. Lucina hits 53 attack.
Yep.
I cannot have Fury and a Heavy Blade at the same time. That makes Heavy Blade completely useless.
Yep. I mean, it's...
Like, you can make it work if it's on offense, but in defense, it's just completely awful.
I feel... More often than not, at least when it comes to this day and age of Arena, it feels like I've run into units that don't really have that much attack. That's just me. Like, probably because of my ranking, but, that's just...
I'm guessing it's mainly because you're seeing mages.
Yeah, mostly.
Mages tends to have, like, a bit less attack, basically because their weapon has less might to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
But even then... Most mages can actually one-round KO Ike because, God, that res is just... Yeah, and also that's also, like, I understand he has built-in distant counter, but overall, you see that distant counter and you're like, you're not exactly like, oh my God, that is strong. You're more like, oh my God.
I'm gonna have to deal with that. Great.
Well, I'm more like, oh my God, 3/4 of the fucking units can just KO him regardless of DC.
Whoa, that's weird. Sorry, there's... I'm fixing a few things. Sorry, guys. I forgot an important character. I'm just moving that
Like,
up.
I can definitely see Ike being strong.
Yeah.
But unless it's a bow unit or a shuriken unit, aka Kagero or Jafar, because the other one are kind of on the low side. Unless it's those two, Ike kind of has trouble surviving and really using properly. Like, you might get a hit in, which, if it's a blue mage, which is often the slot that will be a mage, like before Camus, it was basically you have mage or Effie.
Yeah. And
Effie is not really flexible, so like I see Effie as being strong. I ranked her as plus, but she lacks that flexibility.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I still see Ike as S+, mostly because a lot of the times when it comes down to arena, he'll usually do a lot better against AI. I mean, granted, right now, a lot of these units are good because the AI is a little bit dumb when it comes down to a lot of things. And I still see him.
That it is.
And I still see him as pretty viable as a unit. He'll
like to finish what I was saying. Like, he has trouble really maximizing the this encounter as well as Ryoma does.
Yeah.
And his stats overall, like, if I was just considering a stat without DC, it would be maybe at the top of A+.
Yeah.
DC actually gets him a bit higher because it still kind of helps dealing with characters like Kagero, because contrary to the maybe popular belief, he can actually take a hit from Kagero.
Yep.
And he can deal with Takumi pretty well, especially if you give him like quick riposte.
And probably can deal with people like Cordelia as well nowadays too.
No, Cordelia actually destroys him.
Really? Well, properly built Cordelias at least. We'll get into that one when we get to colorless. Oh god.
When we get to Archer, we're all talking about.
I mean, Ike still is a very good unit if you do get him.
Yeah.
So
the unit I consider above him are essentially Erica, Lucina, Ryoma, and then you have Lloyd and Marth that I do but can almost be all interchanged.
Yeah.
The reason why I say this is because Lloyd and Marth can actually, like, Lloyd is better than Marth offensively. Marth has better bulk, but Lloyd has better attack and speed, especially because of the way his weapon works.
Yeah.
And like, Ike is really good too, but he has those issues hindering him.
Yeah. I'm still gonna go with S+. That's me, though. That's just my opinion. That's why I brought along Jay, though, so he can give his own opinion and, counter mine.
And go, like, in a tangent for, like, 15 minutes.
Yep. Alrighty. Well, let's move on to the next one, and that, of course, is Karel. Or Karel, as I like to call him. Karel Burnett.
I'm just gonna call him Carousel.
Oh, God, please, no. I'm gonna just go with A. He's okay.
I ranked him as A+, as much as I fucking despise his ass for appearing on the Celica banner. And on the Ike banner when I was playing on my alt.
Oh.
Yeah, I fucking pulled him twice in like the same 2 weeks or so.
Yeah.
Fuck me.
He's a very odd unit. I mean, I like his weapon, but I just...
Like, to be fair, he has pretty average def and res. Most of his BST goes into HP, which is a fucking awful stat distribution.
Yeah.
Like, one third of his stat distribution is fucking HP.
No, we need to put more in HP. More. Oh, well.
Yeah, I can't wait to have a 60 HP warrior with like 20 attack, 20 speed, 20 def, and 20 res.
It's one of those things where it's like, oh man, your weapon's really cool on someone else. And that's the unfortunate truth when it comes to Karel, at least.
Yeah, like, he has pretty solid speed.
Yeah.
He has okay def, below average res, but he's a red unit. The fuck? Like, all red unit kind of have shit res, except Kata and Lloyd.
Yeah.
But
I mean, Ella would in them as well. You know, they still.
Yeah.
But
yeah, but his attack is kind of shit. Like, the reason why I say shit is basically he has 30 attack. Oh, by the way, the Karel I pulled on minus, so he has 26 attack.
Oh.
Sitting at a whooping 39 attack at level 40.
Oh, goody. See, that's the problem with a lot of red units, especially a lot of red sword units, is that there always is, like, if you end up pulling, you know, something like maybe Karel or whatever his name is, you know, and then you end up with someone like Corrin, you're gonna find that there's a huge disparity because it becomes a priority of which one do I use, and that's the unfortunate truth with a lot of red sword units, is that what is that slot going to be used by? Are you going to use it?
I mean, like, in my case, it's even worse because I have an attack plus Celica, I have a Ryoma, I have a Sanaki, I have a Lucina. Why the fuck would I use a Karel?
Yeah, exactly. That's the idea.
Like, I would give my Wodao to Zephiel, and that's about the only character that I could really use with a Wodao.
I gave mine to Hana. Anyways, let's move on to Lazlow. He's Lazlow. He exists. He's B. I'm gonna go with B.
Lazlow is actually a better Alphonse.
Really?
Just compare their stat. They're very similar, except he has one more speed.
Well, for me, I was gonna go with, you know, he was right around here, probably, for me. Like, I still can't really decide if he's A or B. He might edge a little bit into A, because, well, I mean, granted, I just hate Noontime in its entirety. I hate people.
Obviously, Noontime is an absolutely
I mean, if you
garbage move.
Don't ever use Noontime, guys.
By the way, I'm just gonna compare Alphonse and Lazlow real quick.
Okay.
Alphonse has 42 HP, Lazlow has 44. Lazlow has 35 attack, Alphonse has 35. Alphonse has 25 speed, Lazlow has 26. Lazlow has 30 defense, Alphonse has 32, and they both have 22 res.
Oh.
This is how similar they fucking are.
Wow.
Except Lazlow has IVs, therefore you can actually fish for an attack plus for a Brave Sword.
Yeah. Oh,
so
okay, you won me over. He's an A now. He was gonna be B, but he was already on the edge anyways. And don't push me, I'm too close to the edge. Alrighty, and moving on, we're in the L's now, as you can tell with Lazlow.
So edgy.
Here is Leo. I'm mostly going probably with A plus, maybe, but that's mostly because of Horse Emblem. Which,
yeah, if you don't consider Horse Emblem and all, he's like A tier.
Yeah.
But if you consider like a good team buffing him up, he's like A plus, possibly almost S.
Yeah.
The reason why I say this is because blade tomes are fucking broken.
Yeah, I mean, as we've spoken about this before, Ursula would probably be, I mean, A, maybe even at the highest probably would probably be A plus. It's thanks to Horse Emblem that she's even viable as a a huge overpowered unit. She does a lot of damage, but you know, Leo is kind of the same situation. The only thing is, I don't think he has a lot of speed. You know, he usually
his speed is actually one of the worst in the game. I think he's at like 22. Let me verify.
So I mean, if you were like, when it comes to Horse Emblem teams, if you wanted a red unit and you didn't really care about a red blade tome unit, you could easily just replace him with someone else. It
actually is very similar to Henry.
Yeah.
That is sad.
Yep.
He has 39 HP, 29 attack, 22 speed, 25 def, and 30 res.
Yep. Poor Leo. I mean, at least he's okay in Fates. Alright, moving on. We have Lilina, and I'll be pretty honest, I'm not too sure where to put her. She was around this area last I looked. I was going to go more with S, because she seems like a pretty viable mage.
I ranked her as A plus because of her poor speed. Sanaki, on the other hand, is S because she's slightly better. Sanaki and Lilina are very, very close to each other.
Yeah. I mean, just to give you an idea, this would be a better accurate representation of where I believe she is, because she's just there to getting S to me.
Kinda. The main reason why Sanaki is a bit better, despite having the same attack, is because Sanaki has a bit more speed, a bit more res, which is like the key stat for those two. She has a bit less HP, but it still works.
Yeah.
And her tome is actually a unique tome, which has 14 might.
Yeah.
And said tome actually buffs the attack of everyone around her once she attacks.
Yeah.
By 4.
Yeah, I know how. I mean, Lilina. We'll get to Sonic in a bit. I'm just saying that Lilina, she is really close to S rank for me. That's just me, though. We'll talk about Sonic. Why I'm pretty sure Sonic he's probably going to be S rank when we get to her.
Yep.
So, anyways, let's talk about the next unit that is also in the Owls, and this is someone you really enjoy. That is Lloyd. With now,
Hi, Lloyd.
It's C rank just because of art. I'm kidding.
I mean, yes, art is like E rank, but
I'm gonna just throw it off the screen now. Bye, Lloyd. See you later. That's over in E rank, guys. If you want to see it, stay tuned. But now, I would probably go with he's probably A plus, maybe S if you really try to push him.
He's actually S tier.
Really?
He's actually S tier. He has better offensive stat than Marth.
Well,
the only thing that Marth has.
I will let you have your S rank, Lloyd, just because you love it so much.
The only reason why Marth can be considered better is because Lloyd has 20 defense, which is really bad.
Mm-hmm.
But Marth has 28. And then you have Lloyd that has 30 res, which is insane, but
yeah.
Oh well.
Honestly,
how Regal Blade works, it also increases attack and speed by 2.
Yeah, I know how that works.
Which basically buffs him to like 50 attack and 30 speed. Which is even better than
he can take advantage of. I mean, he can potentially one-shot a unit, and that would just be, and it might be because of his weapon. So
yeah, you can easily one-round KO a unit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see a problem with him in S rank because for me he was probably top tier A plus. So
if anything, if you really want to know more about Lloyd, I've left a rather long comment on Lloyd's vid.
I mean, you can always leave a comment here discussing some of your choices as well. For those who get mad at us, because they will. All right, moving on.
Well, just the fact that I've put Ike in S tier, I can already see people flaming me for it.
I can see why you might put him in S tier. And here's lon'qu. I'm gonna put him in A plus because that's where I believe he belongs.
That's where he belongs, actually.
Because he's a strong unit. He already has Vantage, which is nice. You know, everyone uses him for that. His speed's great. His attack is, you know, it's decent, I guess.
Fun little fact. lon'qu has the highest speed of the entire game.
Oh yeah, doesn't he get like 42 naturally if you get a boon in it? Like that's insane.
Yeah, if you get a boon, you hit 42, and then if you just use his skill set, he gets to 45 because he learns speed plus 3 naturally.
Yeah, that's insane. Not he's a fast unit. He has killing edge, I think it is.
Yep.
So he'll trigger special abilities faster. Replace Astra, though. What the hell is wrong with you? And of course,
he has Astra. Let me verify this.
Wait, not Astra. Glimmer. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he has Glimmer.
You know, the poor man's alternative to Astra. Replace that and give him something better.
Like it's like Baruka sitting with like fucking garbage attack and just be like, oh yeah, my skill is Glimmer.
Well,
look at me for 0 damage.
All right, next up in the L's is the good old-fashioned queen of the fandom, and that, of course, is Lucina.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Tarja because of the fucking voting gauntlet.
Not yet, but I mean, we've had Lucina, and I'm probably going to put her in S+, because that's where a lot of people just seem to really agree, but I was really considering S, because as much fun as she is, she lacks a little bit in some environments, you know, some...
Like, she has the best overall stats when it comes to offense, and the most reliable ones.
For me, she's pretty close to S+, but I'm going to put her in S.
Yeah, she's the second best sword unit in the entire game, in my she has the best stat spread when it comes to offense. Yeah. She's basically the Cordelia, the Cordelia of sword units, but she does not have built-in distant counter.
Oh.
She has awful, well, not awful, but Her defense is below average.
Yeah.
And I mean, her res is below average. Her defense is kind of. And then you have like her HP that has way too much stats in it again.
Yep.
Like if she had like 3 points in from HP turned into defense, she'd be insane.
She's a really good unit if you get her though. I mean, she
is amazing. She's amazing.
She's amazing. Not only that, she has Falchion, which of course is a bit niche, but you know, Dragon Killer's not a bad thing. I mean,
she used Falchion rather well.
Yeah. And all right, so moving on from that, we have Lyn.
Oh god.
Honestly, I'm gonna be that brutal guy, and I'm gonna be putting her pretty. I know people are gonna get mad about this, but I'm putting her in A.
I've ranked her as A+. Surely because you can do a very nifty combo with her weapon.
Well, you know, Gale Force is neat and things like that, but I just
No, not Gale Force. Her
only
weapon
poking
has
fun there, really.
Her weapon has built-in desperation.
Yeah, that's nice. But...
Wait a sec. So you can combo this with Brash Assault.
Oh,
because
really?
Brash Assault, if you hit she's a melee unit. If you hit another melee unit with it, meaning that it can counter, you will get a follow-up if she's at 50% or less HP, regardless of her speed.
I'm gonna put her between A and A+ then. God damn it.
and
yeah.
Because of Desperation 2, she will immediately do her follow-up.
Oh.
So she basically becomes a brave weapon with 44 base attack.
Really? I didn't know that. That's insane. See, this is what happens. Fine, I'm moving her to A+, just because you keep doing these strong battles against... Fine, A+ for Lyn. God damn it.
It's funny because she's the only unit in the entire game that can use Brash Assault correctly.
Oh, man.
Because it's like, oh look, you can counter me. I can hit twice because you can counter me. Oh wait, I died the counter. Whoops.
Alrighty, well we're gonna move on to Marth for now. Oh god. Marth is a difficult one for me. I've been all over the place for him. Like I was like,
Marth is also last tier though. He has one thing that's like his main issue.
I really disagree. I really disagree, and I honestly think he's between A+ and A, but you know, that's just me. But go ahead.
He has 34 speed and 47 attack, which is basically 3 less attack and 2 less speed than Lucina.
Yeah.
And he has much better bulk overall.
Oh.
So, like, let me verify. I believe he has 28 defense and 26 res. Okay, no, I was completely wrong. 29 defense and 23 res with 4. It's basically pretty decent stats. He has trouble dealing with Hector. That's his main issue. He has trouble, like, one-round KOing Hector unless he's attackable. However, if you give him Vantage, you can basically let an Hector attack you. Then you will hit him twice, almost killing him in the process. And then just wait for him attacking you again, and Vantage will take him out.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
You have to do this. You have to do this, because otherwise he has Bonfire ready. You attack him, Vantage, Bonfire for like 30 damage. You're dead.
Oh, well. Okay, fine. A+. Moving on. we have a lot more. We're still in N's, guys. And God, this is Navarre. What do you think?
Navarre is a better lon'qu.
Oh.
The main problem lon'qu has is, while he has an insane 39 speed, his main issue is that his attack itself is sitting at a low 29. Navarre is very similar to lon'qu in the fact that he has basically the same stat, except you move 2 speed into attack.
Oh, okay.
So he has 31 attack. So he has 31 attack and 30 speed.
Well, I mean, as far as I actually, that's the only character I haven't really looked at was Navarre, because I just don't like him too much. I know that probably...
Little fun fact. I thought he was a worse lon'qu at first, because when he was data mined, he was revealed to have 28 attack and 37 speed.
Yeah.
Little reminder, lon'qu has 29 attack and 39 speed.
Yeah.
So basically, Navari was basically a slightly worse lon'qu.
Yeah.
But on the day of release, they actually bumped up his attack to 31 attack because they realized it was a pretty fucking retarded idea.
Oh, okay, and moving on, we also have Ogma, who probably wins for the most awkward art I've ever had to deal with outside of Lloyd, because I just don't know why, but his muscles don't look normal.
I mean, it looks like he has a bunch of tumors on his arm, but...
Yeah. I'm gonna go with
to me...
A+, probably, for me.
Yeah, he's actually that. To me, the most awkward art is Est, because you look at her legs, she has like the legs of an 18-year-old with the body of an 8-year-old on top of it.
Okay, I'm just gonna put this character here because I already know where she goes, and that's just because it's Olivia, and she's going to be S. Because
I ranked her as A+, along with every other dancer.
I know you have a thing against dancers. I know. But...
No, I don't. I actually use dancers a lot to grind because they're pretty damn useful. But
I feel Olivia as a character, she has a lot of excellent potential. Not only she can be bulky in some ways, like unexpectedly.
Yeah, she's the best dancer out there, easily.
I mean, I feel a lot of people go like, "Oh my God, Azura is so good," and then they completely ignore Olivia because Olivia, for some reason, because she's a lot easier to get and technically more, of a freebie unit. People are like, "Ah, she's just okay." No, she's great. She is fantastic.
Like, she's free, therefore she's bad. Yeah, look at that fucking Azura with her 21 defense. Oh boy.
I mean, people put a lot of placement on like Azura or even Ninian, but no, Olivia is a fantastic dancer and a fantastic swords unit in her for herself. Like, I think. I still think she's S rank. I think she's S rank.
Okay, so I'm going to speak about every dancer on this. All dancers share the same speed. They all have 33 speed, 36 if Boon, 30 if Bane. Azura, as a character, is more offensive. Yeah, yada yada. But she's not that great. Because, see, unless you have a Azura that's like +5, you don't really compare to Olivia. Because Olivia can... I do realize this takes time. But you can upgrade your Olivia to +10. And with +10,
she's much more easily accessible. Let's just
so you can like slowly build her up to +10.
Yeah.
And an Olivia +10 has 31 defense and 30 res with Fury.
Yeah.
Also, if you give her a Ruby Sword, not even a Ruby Sword Plus, she one-rounds KO Hector without taking damage.
All right.
Hector literally hits her for 0. It's fucking hilarious to see.
Alright, so moving on. We're going to talk about Paula. I'm just going to put her in A rank. She's a bit above, Sheeta, and at least for my,
That's where I ranked her as well.
Because,
that's where I ranked her.
I'm sure someone's going to be like, Moonbow! Oh my God, Moonbow! But, that's where she belongs.
Oh my God, my Moonbirds!
Next up is, I believe his name is pronounced Rai or Ray. I don't know how to really... Ramalama Ding Dong.
I'll call him the little child. There you go.
The Dark Child, that's what he's called. Like, his title is Dark Child or something like that.
Yeah, it is.
Honestly, I'm not too sure. I'm thinking he might be, honestly, towards, maybe... A, if you really wanted to push him up there, but...
Oh, Jesus, you are,
Or maybe B.
In there? Yeah, I ranked him in B.
I mean, for me...
He has these, like...
For me, he's not terrible, but he's not very good. He's...
Like,
maybe if you build him completely correct, he could be A rank, but he's, like...
Yeah, he can maybe smash the A+.
Yeah.
Because he has a solid 32 attack and 29 speed, okay?
Yeah.
Which is pretty solid, but to really make him shine, you have to kill a Tarja to give her the fucking... to give him the tome he needs.
Yeah.
And Tarja is S tier, and him at best would be maybe A+.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to give a better unit away. to make him good. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
From there, we have Roy, who I believe is more of an A rank for myself, but that's just because I feel he's only really good at Triangle Adept. That's kind of all I've really seen him used for.
Oh my god, Roy, why do you even exist?
Okay, we're moving past that. I'm not gonna get into that. I mean, I'm not gonna get into that one. Oh god, no. We're not talking about that one.
I ranked Roy at A, and I'm just gonna leave it at that because, oh my god, that stat spread is just why the.
Okay, well, let's just ignore his grumblings and move on to the real S rank, the real S plus that is probably my favorite. It's Ryoma.
Yep, Ryoma is easily S plus because he has basically Lucina's stats minus 1 speed, but he has built-in DC on top of it, and even in like a better bulk overall.
Yeah, he's speedy, he's fast, he can take advantage of a lot of great skills. He is the end-all be-all of red sword units if you really want to compare right now.
Like, he's sitting at 27 defense and 21 res. Sure, his res is kind of shit, but that's still like
that's decent
pretty good
enough. Yeah, that's decent enough.
Yeah.
If he gets hit by a mage, usually, I mean, if he's gonna get hit by any of the really top-tier blue mages, he's gonna die, of course, but
no, he's actually most likely gonna survive.
Really?
You need 62 attack to one-hit KO him.
Yeah.
And for,
that's right. He does have the speed to back it up. Okay, well,
for the most part, if he gets hit, unless it's like Tarja that's fully buffed,
yeah,
or like maybe Sanaki that's fully buffed with a blade tome,
yeah,
he's basically going to take the hit, survive, get advantage range, and kill you in the fucking process too.
Yeah, that's the one thing that he just does so well is he has the health to, you know, negate a lot of the instant kill abilities, really. And then just, you know, if anyone tries to kill him afterwards, he's just gonna murder you. It's simple. There's a reason why he's so powerful.
Believe it or not, out of all the built-in DC units, he has the most res. In fact, he has also more res than Takumi and Hector, the ones that come with the other DC moves.
Yep. Alright, moving on. We have Sanaki, and she's going to be S. Strong S on my end.
Yep.
Her tome's really interesting. She has some pretty good stats, and, you know, of course, I mean,
she's basically a better Lilina.
Yeah, she's Lilina, but better, and mostly because of, I forget how to say the title of her tome, Cybele or something like Cymbeline.
Cymbeline.
Yeah, and basically what that does is, you know, it grants like +4 attack through, you know, after she attacks to her allies, which is great. I feel that's a really strong tome.
It's kind of hard to use because you have to position your units like knowing where the enemy is gonna go, so you can attack and then move on with the other unit with the buff.
Thankfully, with AI, it's kind of easy to tell a lot of the time.
Yeah, if you get used to it, you can actually tell. But I mean,
you know, you could also give her a blade tome, I guess, if you really wanted to.
I mean, that can work. That can work.
But I feel she's strong as is with that tome that she has.
Yep. Especially if you give her like Swordbreaker, or like you give her, if you're a fucking sadist, you can give her Fury alongside Escape Route.
Yeah.
And basically, when she gets to all of health, she can teleport to any of your unit and just smack for like 55 attack worth of damage.
Yep. All right, that's Sanaki. She's fantastic. As we said when we were talking about her, yeah, she's interesting. All right, now this one I honestly don't really know, and I kind of I hate to sound like that jerk there, but I kind of don't care where she ends up. I honestly want to put her in E rank because, well, it's Selena, and I really don't know what to do with her. She is a strange character.
She is very strange because, fun fact, if you get a 4-star plus 10 Selena, she actually hits 37 defense.
Really?
Yep.
I still feel she's a B. That's just me, though.
I'd say she's a or so. She has decent attack, she has decent speed, but and like really good defense. She can really tank well. But I don't know. She's like one of those units that you have to really work on if you really want to make her work.
Yeah, it's
out of the box. She's kind of awful.
Yeah, I agree. And moving on, here is Seliph. Where do you think Seliph would go? Because I'm debating.
Oh, Seliph is like maybe A.
Yeah, I was thinking he was probably around here, like A or A+. I'm gonna go with A because that just sounds a little bit better to me.
I ranked him as like as B, but he's kind of like a worse Alphonse.
Yeah,
if I remember right.
He's not that great. His weapon's really awkward, at least for me.
Yeah, in fact it's so awkward you need to use a brave sword as
yeah, I mean, it would just be better to replace it. Like that's what I hate doing is when a unit gets a...
He's like another one. He's like another one of those units that has too much fucking point put in HP.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, okay, it would be like, the one thing I hate about this game when it comes to unique weapons is when they give a character a unique weapon that doesn't make sense in a lot of ways. It doesn't synergize. That's basically Seliph in a nutshell. It's like, okay, so he gets a little bit more defense when he's really low. Great. Thumbs up.
Oh look, when I'm on all health, I go from 30 defense to 34 defense. Really scary, huh?
Yeah. That's Seliph for you guys. I hope you enjoyed. I'm honestly contemplating this down here, but anyways, I'm sure you can guess who's coming up next, and that would probably be our good friend Sophia, and she's... You know, I know that Jinkuro is going to be like, here's my Sophia, she's amazing, but I feel like she's...
I was going to point that out. Jinkuro is a really good Sophia that works well with his team.
Yeah.
But personally, I consider Sophia as a B rank.
Yeah,
because,
that's where I was going. She's close to C for me, at least, honestly.
She's really good at dealing with like long-range threats.
Yeah.
Because she has really good defense, she has really good res, she has awful speed, but for the most part, you use her to deal with archers, ninjas such as Kagero. In fact, if you give her triangle of depth, Kagero can barely scratch her.
Yep.
And she also deals well with like mages such as Julia, Nino, Soren to some extent as well.
Yeah.
Like, she's good at those, but if you consider anything outside of that,
she's not gonna do well. She's gonna get doubled. She's gonna get destroyed.
You have to build a team.
Yeah, based around her. That's the
you
problem.
kind of have to base it around her, and then like you use her basically to deal with such threats, and then the other three to deal with the other threats.
Yep,
essentially.
pretty much. It's not something easy to deal with. Okay, next up is Stahl, and honestly, he's probably B or A for me. I'm probably gonna go more with A, just because, well, you know, he's not terrible, but
I ranked him as B, though I can definitely see why you could rank him as A. I believe I actually made him like I was playing around with him in the calculator.
Yeah.
And I was somehow able to make him hit 40 defense and like 30 res.
He can be bulky, not only that, but like since he's of course a cavalry unit, he does have that advantage to him a little bit, but you know, out of all of the spectrum, we have so many like horse red units right now. It's just
the problem is when you're comparing Stahl, you're comparing him to Xander and Eldigan.
Yep, and they are going to
contest.
Yeah, there's no contest there. I mean, he's not gonna do it. Okay, well, I'm just gonna throw this over here and just be like, yeah, that's pretty much where I expect her to be. Here's Tharja. She's S rank because of obvious reasons.
Yep. Sadly, she is S.
Yeah. I know, it's sad to a lot of people. Like they're like, I hope she's B rank. She's S because, well, she's fast, she hits hard, she does a lot of things like that.
As sad as this is, before Celica was the only red tome unit to hit over 30 fucking speed.
Yeah.
That is kind of sad when you think about it.
Alright, up next is Tiki Adult. I say she's A plus. That's just me, but
yeah, I ranked both Tikis as A plus.
oh
If you give them like Fury / Armored Blow, you can actually KO Lucina with them.
yeah, I'm probably gonna I'm just gonna put them both there because honestly, that's probably about where I would put them both. They're both
Like
interesting units.
obviously, young Tiki is better than adult Tiki.
Yeah, adult Tiki is a little bit weaker, I feel, but you know. That's
Yeah,
just...
but at the same time, she takes melee easier. Also, she hits like 40 defense at neutral with Armored Blow.
Yeah.
So yeah, surviving against like say Lucina can happen rather easily.
Yep. I mean, okay, so let's move on to the next unit, who's pretty obvious. It's Xander. Hello, buddy. I mean...
Hello, S tier dude.
Yep, he's S tier for obvious reasons. Mostly because he's a great swords unit. He has distant counter built into him. He's a horse unit, which just makes things worse for, you know, opponents. It's kind of obvious as to why he's S. I
consider Corrin M better. I consider Corrin M better than Xander.
Yeah.
But only by one slot. Like, literally, Corrin M.
I mean,
like
if you're making... Well, yeah, Corrin does great, but if you're going to go with the Xander and you have a horse emblem team, he's going to be your...
Yeah.
Like, he can replace Leo, pretty much, as your red unit for the horse emblem.
I mean, it's not like you have many choice for fucking cavalry red.
Yeah,
you have like Leo, which is a bitch to pull, Xander that is free, Eldigan that is another bitch to pull because they're both 5-star, Leo and Eldigan.
Yep,
and then you have Stahl.
Yep, and then you have Stahl, who's just kind of down there on the A. Honestly, Xander's great. He's a great unit. Distant counter's always a fun thing to go with. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be like, oh god, really? But, yep, there you go, Xander. At least he doesn't have a carrot this time.
It's kind of sad because if you'd compare the two like side by side, Bunny Xander is actually not that bad. Like he tanks mages easier than Xander does.
Yep. Well, that's because he just looks so fly doing it. All right, and last but not least is Zephyl. Where do you think he would go for you?
S tier.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking myself. He's a very strong armored unit if you build him correctly. Very strong.
He's actually the 7th best sword unit in the game, in my opinion.
I mean, granted, you know, when it comes to armored units, I've ran into him in arena where he's just destroyed me because he, you know, Weary Fighter's annoying. Adding distant counter on him if you, for some reason, happen to have an extra Hector is just ridiculous, and all sorts of other things.
Like, the main thing that really holds him down from being so good is because Weary Fighter does not stop Reinhardt for shit. If Reinhardt is going to hit you, you're dead. Period.
Yeah, Reinhardt will, of course, destroy him. We'll be talking about Reinhardt in our blue unit review, but that's our complete tier list right there. I'm still thinking Ike might be between S plus and S, but you know, just so we're clear. But yeah, there we go. Poor Henry. Poor Henry. Poor Henry. So, that's my complete tier list at least. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. This is an hour-long video because there's so many red units.
Oh my god, seriously?
So many red units. I didn't think this would take so long, but yeah. We went in as depth as we possibly could with a lot of these units. That's where everyone stands, at least from my viewpoint. And if you want to hear Jay's opinion, feel free to put it in the comments as well. I'm sure he'll be talking there as well. Right? So I hope.
Yeah, I get it.
So thanks for joining us, guys. Oh boy, that was a lot. We should have split this into 2. Anyways.
Yeah.
But there you guys go. An in-depth tier list about all of them in case you really wanted to know. I'm tired. Good night. Thanks for watching, guys. See you soon.